morning, I'm Janice Noller, the Senior GIS Analyst for the City of Moreno Valley. Thank you for joining us today for this presentation of the Moreno Valley Map Viewer. We are excited about this application and we think it is a great tool for residents and business owners. Our hope is that the knowledge that you gain in this session will spark ideas on how you can use the Map Viewer for your business and personal needs. In this session, I will be giving a brief definition of what GIS is, touch on the technology behind the desktop and mobile viewers, and then go into a general introduction of the functionality and tools. So let's get started. GIS, which means Geographic Information System, is a system that allows users to visualize, manipulate, analyze, and display spatial data. The features on the map are database driven, which means that each shape depicted on the map is tied to a table behind the scenes. The shapes can be data-rich with many attributes and are not just graphics laid onto a map. For example, if a user clicks on a park location, they can open up the attribute table and see all of the amenities located at that certain location. If they are looking for specific criteria, like horseshoe pits for example, the user can do a simple query on the data to quickly pull up all of the parks that contain horseshoe pits in the city. They can visually see where they are located. A GIS application is dynamic with multiple layers laid on top of each other, which shows spatial relationships between the data sets. It is a virtual representation of the world and its infrastructure. The use of GIS is very broad and can be used in a variety of industries: government, public safety, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and education, just to name a few. GIS can answer questions such as where? Where are the vacant parcels that are over 50 acres in the city? Where are the areas that are zoned as office? Where are the trails located in the city? GIS can also answer questions such as proximity. Which parks are located within a half-mile from my home? What special district zones do I reside in? GIS can answer what is located there. What is the number of the street light outside of my home that needs to be repaired? What is located at a specific address? These questions and more can be answered with the Moreno Valley Map Viewer and the Moreno Valley Mobile Map Viewer. Both are robust applications that are intuitive and easy to use. Some of the features that we would like to highlight are the ability to create parcel reports and street sweeping reports within one application, the Google interaction with Street View, the ability to perform simple and complex queries on the database. Please note that this feature is only available on the desktop version, the ability to create mailing labels, and to generate map exhibits. The map viewers that we created for the public were introduced in two phases. Phase 1 was the Moreno Valley Map Viewer. Phase 2 was the implementation of the Moreno Valley Mobile Map Viewer. I will now hand the floor over to Dory Leinhardt to explain the technology between these two applications.
Hello, my name is Dory Leinhardt and I am the city's Enterprise Systems Administrator. First, I want to echo Janice's appreciation of and gratitude for your time and your interest in the Moreno Valley GIS. As Janice said, I'm here to tell you about the city's two GIS sites and to explain how to choose the one that meets your needs, or more specifically, your device. The first site, Moreno Valley Map Viewer, sometimes referred to as Moreno Valley Squared, was launched in July of 2013. The site is built on Microsoft Silverlight platform and requires you to download and install the Silverlight Viewer. Silverlight is a Microsoft application framework, so it's designed for computers that run Microsoft Windows. Moreno Valley Squared provides the most feature-rich environment for Windows-based personal computers and serves as the default production environment here at the city. The Moreno Valley Mobile Map Viewer, there's another squared in there somewhere, our MVM squared V, was released in December of 2013 and is specifically designed for use on a mobile device. This HTML5 based site scales to fit your tablet or smartphone display and provides access to the Moreno Valley GIS on the go. Check out both sites. Discover which one works best for you.
Thank you, Dory. We have received positive feedback and we have seen it in action by residents. Hidden Springs Homeowners Association has been working with the Special Districts Division to establish where landscaping needs to be replaced and suggestions on what to replant. One of the members of the association used Moreno Valley Map Viewer to create exhibits to insert into their document to visually show where the areas are located and annotated what action needs to be taken. Here is another exhibit from their document. The user zoomed into an area and labeled on the map detailed information for city staff. This is just an example how maps can be a good vehicle of communication. Let's begin with the demonstration. Let's get into the introduction of the map. We have several elements on this page. We have our zoom in and zoom out control, which is similar to other websites such as Google. We have our information pane, which opens up to show our map layers and our map themes. We have our Want To menu, which is shortcuts to common functions such as creating a printable map, creating a parcel report, and street sweep calendar. Over here we have our global search, which has been set up for our public facilities, parks, and schools. This allows you to quickly go in and do a search. For instance, if you were looking for the middle schools within the city, you could type in the word middle, begin your search, and they will show up on the left-hand side. Here you can find the help topics if you have any questions about the functionality. This menu allows you to select your layer themes. Your map themes are grouped into common layers. So for instance, your base map is going to have your parcels, your tracks, geologic information, school park locations, and other general information. Special districts includes some of the base map elements such as parcels and tracks, but it also includes your special district zones. Zoning, again, will contain parcels and tracks, along with the zoning information we have for the city. This is where you can change the background of your map. Here we have our world street map, but we do have available to you the Moreno Valley imagery, which is 3-inch resolution of our city. Please note that if you turn the imagery on, you are going to want to turn off the other layers for performance issues. This is the button to open up the toolbar. This is where you'll find the ribbons for the map functionality and tools. We'll go ahead and get into the explanation of your map layer window along with your tools. Okay, so let's look at the map layer window. This is where you're going to select your map theme. For the most part, you're going to use your base map. It contains the most layers that are your general layers. To turn map layers on and off, you're going to click at the parent level and also at the child level. If they're grayed out, it means you're not zoomed in enough to see it. There's been a zoom extent set on that layer. If we had them all turned on at once, it wouldn't be visually pleasing in the map. So for instance, we're going to go ahead and click on parks, and it is grayed out right now. If you click on your zoom in tool, you'll notice that it enables, and then you can see them on the map. So let's go in and, for instance, on street lights, it too is grayed out, and you need to be zoomed in pretty far in order to see them. So let's go ahead and we'll zoom in to a certain layer or a certain area of the city, and they show up as green dots on the map. And then again, you have your base maps that you can turn your imagery on and off. Let's start with our Getting Around ribbon, which has our navigation tools. It has your basic tools of panning, so you can pan around the map just like you've used in other applications. Your zoom in, zoom out. Your zoom in, zoom out. You can also use the controller that I showed you previously. The initial extent button, that'll take you back to the extent the map viewer was when you opened it. And then we have full extent, which actually goes out a little bit more. It gives you more reference to where the city is in comparison to other cities. Previous extent and next extent are like your Internet Explorer forward and back tabs. You can go forward and back. We've used it extensively. As long as you don't close your window and come back into it, it should go back pretty far. Here's the point identify tool, and this allows you to do a quick identify on a feature. So if I were to zoom in to Fire Station 2, for example, and I were to click on this parcel, it'll show the results over here in the window. And then if I click on here, this is where I can get more information about the parcel. The map scale, this is predefined map scales, so you can jump quickly through to zoom in and out. This is where you can set up a bookmark that is similar to a favorite that you would set up in Internet Explorer. So if you find yourself researching an area over and over again, you can actually bookmark it to go back. So I'm going to do one for the Senior Center. So if I type in senior in the global search, I can zoom to it. And by hitting this add current extent, I can name it like I would a favorite and hit OK. So right now I'm just going to jump back to the initial extent of my map viewer. I'll go ahead and close that. And then it should be listed in my jump to map bookmark. So when I click it, it'll go back. And then here again, we have our help. If you have any questions about the functionality of the viewer, you can click on here and it'll bring up the GeoCortex online help. In the Maps and Data Sources ribbon, you will find the tools to open up the data layers, query on the data, add external data, and bring up Bing and Google Maps. In the Map Layer group, the Show Layer button opens up the list of all the data layers. This is also the window where you can change the map theme if you would like to look at special districts or zoning information. This is also the window where you can change the map theme if you want to look at special districts or zoning, and change the base map background from World Street Map to Moreno Valley imagery. The query tools allow you to do searches on the database so you can explore deeper into the information that is not tied to the pre-configured searches that we have provided for you. Here is an example of a simple query. When you click on the query button, the window will open up. We are going to do a search for a tract number. The query layer that we want to look for is tracts. And here we're going to say tract equals and put in 10347. As I type, you see that a list auto-completes and I can select my value. When it shows up in the results, I can click on the little world next to the tract and it'll zoom in to my selected tract. To do a more complex query where more than one criteria is desired, you can use the Advanced Query tool. Here I'm going to select out the parcels that are over 50 acres and vacant. The query layer will be set to parcels. The field name is acre, and I click Add to drop it down into the window at the bottom. You click on the greater than operator, so it shows down in the window. In my field value, I'm going to type in 50 and click Add. For the second part of the query, I'm going to make the structure equal to 0, which means that it is a vacant parcel. For field name, I drop that down to structure. I select Add to bring it down, the equal sign, and type in 0. and click Run. When I hit Select All and View Selected, it will show me the parcels in our database that are vacant and over 50 acres. As you've noticed, they are outside of the city boundary. We've extended it to include our sphere of influence. The next feature I would like to mention is more for the power users, but I'd like to point out that the functionality is available. There is the ability to add data straight into this viewer from other data sources. Please refer to the online help to leverage these tools. The last feature in this ribbon are the external mapping tools. These tools allow you to view places on the map in greater detail. Bing offers a bird's eye view which shows imagery at different angles, and Google allows for a street view where you can get a 360 view of the features around the area. Here is an example of the Bing map. As you can see, it is an angled view, which is called the bird's eye view. The window is synced with the map viewer, so as you move around in here, it moves in the application. We'll now open the Google Maps to see the street view. And you can see here that it's showing the line of sight as you turn around. When opening either of the tools, be sure to hold the Shift key down to ensure that a new window opens with the imagery. The images will be synced to the viewer. However, the viewer will not be synced back. So once you open it up in a new window, you can't go back and forth. Please note that the imagery is from Bing and Google and may not be up to date in some areas. The task toolbar contains the tools to print, export, view results, and draw graphics on a map. To demonstrate the print map function, I've zoomed in around Fire Station 6. When you click on the button, a window will open. It allows you to select your layout. You have 4 predefined layouts. I'm just going to select the 8.5 by 11. The format is PDF. Your resolution is 96 or 128. I will do 96. You can select your map scale to the current extent, which is what you see, or you can select another scale. So you can zoom out farther if you want, or you can create a scale, type in a scale. I've put a title in here and notes, and let's go ahead and hit Create File. Once the file is compiled, you can open it up to view, or you can save it to your computer. The Export Map feature just creates a screen scrape of the map. So if I were wanting to put this into an exhibit within a document, but I don't need any map elements, I can create an image and it will just contain what you see in here. The I want to and those elements will not show up. And you have 4 different formats that you can choose from. Hit Create Image and you can save it or print it out. View Result and View Selected allow you to go back to a previous query that you've done during your browsing session. Clicking on the View Results, you can see that it's showing the last query that I did, which was looking for the vacant parcels over 50 acres. If we go to View History, this is showing everything that I've done in this browser session. So I can go back and review things that I've done earlier in the day. The drawing tools allow you to draw graphics onto a map. For example, let's say you were having a party at Celebration Park and wanted people to know where you're going to be within the park. I'm first going to do a global search for Celebration Park. When it pops up, I'm going to click on the world icon next to park, and it'll zoom me in to the area. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the image so we can see the features within the park. And I have my park layer on right now, but I'm going to turn it off so I can see the image more clearly. Okay, so this looks like a good area to have a park right over here in the west. If I click circle, and I can change the color. Let's change it to blue. Can draw it there on the map. We're going to have our easy up and our blankets there. This is where the party is. Okay, let's add some text to that. And I'm going to click on the text tool and select my color. Let's make it yellow and large so we can see it. I'm going to go ahead and click in here and say, here we are. Now it's in yellow, so you're not going to see it in the box, but when I hit enter, it'll show up. Now at this point, I can do the export map feature like I showed you earlier. You could print this out and include it in your invitations, or you could create a map and send it out. So it's just a handy tool to actually interact with the map and personalize it as you need it. The extract tool allows you to share the graphics that you've created. For example, if you had a markup of an area you wanted to share, you can export all the graphics and send it to another person. So in this example, since we already have this blue circle up, in essence, you could extract this circle out and send it to family and friends that they could import into this map and see where you're going to be. One thing to note, the extract will not pick up your text element. It is only going to pick up your graphic. In the analysis ribbon, you can perform identifies on one feature or several features depending on the shape option selected. To only identify the features of one item, using the point feature would be appropriate. Once we've identified City Hall in this example, you can click on the hyperlink to bring up the details and more attributes about that parcel. From this window, you can also zoom to feature, pan to it, copy it, or add it to a selection. Please note that from here you can also create a street sweeping calendar, create your parcel report, or export a buffer of parcels for mailing labels from this window. For one or more, use the line, the freehand, the polygon, or rectangle tools. Since I'm in the area around City Hall, I'm going to use the rectangle identify to choose a whole block. And here you can see I have a whole list of parcels that were selected. If you click the table view, and let's go ahead and go to the wide view of it, we can see multiple attributes at the same time. The Display For pull-down is a list of layers that will appear in the results window if the layer is turned on and falls within the area that you have identified. So for instance, when I click my rectangle identify and select this block, it is going to select my public facility and my parcels. Buffered Identify will create a polygon around your point, line, or polygon identify around the distance that you choose. For example, if you wanted to find all of the street lights that fall within a certain area. Okay, so let's zoom in. And you want to find all of the street lights that fall within this area. So we're going to do a point identify. We can select our distance. Let's put in 200 feet just so we can be sure and pick something up. And you can see that it's picked these three within a 200-foot radius of where I clicked. Here we have our measure distance tool and our measure area tool. So if you wanted to measure the distance around the block, for example, you start your point by clicking, and each segment you just click once. And the segment will annotate with the segment length and then double click to end it. This will come up with the last line segment, and this is your total segment, and you can change the units to the desired units. If you wanted to create more lines that weren't connected, you need to do an add as drawing, and from there you continue to create another line. Measure area, same concept. You click where you want to start and do one mouse click around your block and double click to end it, and it'll add the units in the middle, and again you can change this to your desired unit. We have the coordinate tools. This allows you to enter coordinates. So if you were given a coordinate, maybe you do geocaching and you work with coordinates, or you work with the GPS unit, you can type in your coordinates and click add, and it'll take you to where those coordinates are. If somebody asks you where something is and you need coordinates, you can plot them. So you click on the plot coordinate map or plot coordinate tool and click within the map, and it'll give you your information. In the search ribbon, we have search functions that are predefined. They're wizard driven. So for instance, if we want to search by street, we can type in a street name, and as you start typing, it will create a short list. So we're going to go ahead and click Mozart Way and hit search. And there we go. The next function on this ribbon is the search by street address. Unfortunately, addresses are not supported in the global search at this time. So in order to do an address location, you need to use this tool. As you start typing, valid addresses will show up in the short list. And it will zoom you to your parcel. And again, you can click on the parcel number to bring up more details and attributes for the parcel. Okay, our next search is the search by tract number. Again, as you start typing in a valid tract number, the numbers will come up where you can either select it from the list, or you can continue typing it in. And our last search on the ribbon is search by APN. And once again, as you begin typing in, a list will show up and start selecting out a shorter list as you begin to type. On the Report tab, we have options to create mailing lists and create parcel reports and street sweeping calendars. I'm going to go ahead and do a search on an APN just so we have a starting point. And we'll go back to the fire station. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see the area around it. Okay. And just for a scenario, they're going to have an event at the fire station and they want to send flyers to the neighboring residents to let them know that the street's going to be closed on a Saturday. So what they can do is go in and click on the Export to Parcels. And they have the option to create mailing lists for this whole extent that's blue, or they can define a custom geometry. And since they're only concerned with the area immediately around them, we're going to create a polygon. And hit continue. And from here we can download it into a CSV file, which could be taken into a third-party application to create mailing labels. And there you go. Another alternative, as you can see, when a parcel is selected, we have these options, which are also up here in the report ribbon. The export to CSV is a little different than the tool up here. This one is actually going to create a buffer around this parcel. You're not able to create a polygon like we did in the previous step. So if I wanted to create a 500-foot buffer around this parcel, I could type in my distance and hit continue. And it shows you what it's selected. And again, you can download that to a CSV file and take it into a third-party application to create mailing labels. In our next group of tools, we have our reporting. We have Create Parcel Report and Street Sweep Calendar. You can either click on them up here or down here, and they're the exact same tools. We also have it over here in the I Want To menu as well. What you will notice as you start moving around and navigating through the tools, you can find the same functionality many different ways. So here I'm going to go ahead and click on the tool and type in the address. And hit continue. And this may take a minute or so to come up. Once it finishes, click on the hyperlink to download it. And here's your report. You can save it or print it. Here we have our street sweeping calendar. And again, we have it in the report ribbon. We have it located under the parcel information, or we have it under the I Want To. I'm going to go ahead and click on it from the report ribbon. When it's compiled, click Download Report. And again, you can view or save your calendar. We have posted documentation along with this video that is a good reference for the tools and functionality we have gone over in this presentation today. In the document, you will find step-by-step exercises that outline in detail on how to do some of the common functions. Thank you for your time.